Lillian Chukwueze. If you're new to my channel, please go ahead and subscribe and hit the video if you hit the like button if you do like it. I'm here today with Jerome Lewis, and pretty much we're just going to talk about real estate, digital marketing, and what his journey has been. And hopefully some of these gems will be able to help you guys out in the real estate world, because I know there's a lot of real estate agents and investors on my channel. So hopefully this information will help you guys out. And yeah, it's going to be a raw live conversation, and well, not live, but a raw conversation. And yeah, let's get into it.
I can keep it raw.
All right, here we go. So Jerome.
Yes, ma'am.
Who are you? And yeah.
When you say who am I, what do you mean? Personally, professionally?
So who are you? Like, as in, what do you do?
Mm-hmm.
What's your background? Just tell the people what your background is.
In
real estate, life.
Real estate.
Whatever
Okay.
you want to talk about.
Oh man. So to keep it professional, my name is Jerome Lewis. I specialize in digital marketing within the real estate industry. I specialize in tech and digital marketing is the most appropriate way to put it. So I have two skills, and I put those together, and I run a digital marketing agency. So that's me professionally.
Okay.
Is that good enough? You want to know
me
personally?
Is it good enough?
Should be. It's up to you.
Whatever you want to talk about.
It's not. So I'll leave it with that. If they want the personal raw meat, they can come get it. So
okay,
we'll keep it professional.
Heard it here first. You can come get the raw version. So where are you from?
All right. So I am from Philadelphia. I'm from Philadelphia. Real quickly, just to give like some background. It's going to go a little personal. I don't mind being personal. So I grew up here, born and raised in Philadelphia. If I lay out like a timeline from like a baby to like elementary, I was in South Philly. Okay. I got taken away from my mother because I was like a little brat, right? I was a little brat, and I wanted some Christmas stuff, and I'm like, I want this stuff. So I went to school and I started acting up. I think I was in like first grade, and back then, like my mom, she was abusive, but she didn't know any better. So back then, we used to get whoopings for doing stuff that we weren't supposed to do. But my brother in particular, he got beat like really bad. And I would go to the school, act weird, hide under the table. And they started like, what's wrong with this kid? And they would call us down to the counselor's office, like, what is wrong with you? So they started checking our bodies and stuff like that. And he called DHS on my parents. They took us away. They took us away to, like, we went through like a couple foster homes. And that was from like age, I don't know what age, but that was from like first grade to like 8th grade. So during that, I grew up in I was in like the Nicetown area of Philadelphia. It was a really rough area, but that area like helped me get like my edge and not be a punk or whatever. Like I make posts all the time about how I used to be a punk, but growing up in that neighborhood helped me not be a punk. And then after like that little phase, we went back to our mother. And so that was from like 8th grade until 12th grade. And I was back in South Philly. And then I got in some little bit of trouble there. And that's where I was telling you, like you was asking where I play basketball. When I got in that little bit of trouble, they sent me to Carson Valley School, which is it's in Flowertown. It's a school like right outside of here. So I'm from Philadelphia. That's kind of where I grew up at, in those areas and in those neighborhoods. Okay. Is that good enough?
That was good enough. I hope that was good enough for you guys.
All right.
So you're a Philadelphia native.
Philadelphian.
Yes. And I'm still fairly new to Philadelphia. I've been living here for about 2 years. So you definitely know a lot more than me about, the area. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, based on your background and everything, what made you actually want to get into real estate?
What made me want to get into real estate was the same thing as everybody else, basically, for the most part, like financial freedom. They tell you, they're like, oh, you can get involved in real estate for nothing. And it's so easy. It's so easy. All you got to do is wholesale a couple of properties and it's like, okay, I want to do that. So I was like, I've read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I was like, all right, I need to get into this real estate thing because it's going to be easy. There's
a lot of controversy around Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
It is. Yeah. But I'm like, so I read that book. I'm like, this is going to be easy. And one of the things I picked up, I don't know if it was this book or another book, but they were like, go get a mentor. So I'm like, all right, let me go find a mentor. And I went to meetup.com because I know how to use Google. You'd be shocked. Some people don't know how to use Google. So I went to Google and I was looking for like real estate meetups and meetings or whatever I was searching for. And I found a meetup group, and it was this guy, he was from Texas. And he was teaching and offering coaching, and his coaching program was $3,000. I was like, $3,000 to make 5,000 sounds good to me.
Sounds good.
10,000, right? Good enough. I could do that. So I joined his program, and I was successful. Like, I think that's one of the reasons why I was successful.
First program you joined.
Yes, that was the first program that I joined.
So that was a big investment.
Yes, I think that's one of the reasons why I was successful is because I actually did what the coach told me to do. And I was also willing to invest. A lot of people are scared to invest in themselves. It's like, oh my God, that's expensive. And I never saw it as an expense. It was like, all right, I'm investing in myself. If this fails, I can't blame anybody but myself. Right. So that's what I did. I believed in myself, even though it was some stuff wrong with, like, I didn't agree with like some of the coaching strategies or whatever. You'll probably, like, I'll let you know who he is offline, but he's like a little bit older. I'm like, this stuff is just old. It's like cold calling and door knocking, but I learned the fundamentals of like taking the deal from start to finish and having the conversations with sellers. So that was what got me involved. The financial freedom. Like, I want to do this. So I went out, and actually a part that I didn't mention is I was reading and I had to save up. So before I met that mentor, I had to save up for like 2 years to get that $3,000. Wow. So that, like, it didn't just come out of nowhere. I had saved up, but that's what got me interested. Yeah, it was financial freedom, and that mentor, I think it was 2 years. I was like, all right, I'm gonna save this money, because I wasn't making, I got kids. So, and at the time I only had 2, and they was taking mad child support. So it was really tough for me to save that money, but I did it, and yeah. Wow.
So before we get into my next question, you mentioned, obviously a mentor. How do you feel about mentors in the real estate space, or mentors in general? Because a lot of people will see these mentors and they're like, they call them gurus, and they feel like they're just taking their money because it's so much money that they usually have to invest. But you just said you saved up for 2 years before you decided you decided you wanted to invest in a mentor, but you saved up for 2 years. So you committed yourself to saving for 2 years to invest in yourself. So how do you feel about, like, mentors, and especially nowadays?
How do I feel, or how?
Guys, Jerome has this thing about how you feel, which doesn't really matter, but what
it does matter.
Okay, it matters.
Does, yes.
But it may not necessarily be reality. So. Yes, how do you feel?
How do I feel?
Oh my God,
or
bro.
What do you
think?
Is my perspective? My perspective about mentors is you have to vet them just like anybody else. And these days, it is so easy to. It's a lot. It's a lot of mentor gurus. It's a lot of information. It's a lot of stuff out there. So it makes it even more tough. I appreciate mentorship and coaching, because it's not necessarily about the information that they give you. It's like, okay, this is what works. It's about correction and guidance. What mentors give you. So you get the right coach or the mentor, even if they're not successful in your business or your field or anything like that. Coaches and mentors, they want to help you succeed. And I have conversations with people all the time. I'm like, who do you have in your corner that's honest with you? Like, those are the type of people that I appreciate. Mentors, people that are going to say, look, like, all right, it was this woman, and she was like, she'd been trying to do real estate for like 4 years or something like that. And she attended one of these meetups, and this guy, she looked at him as a mentor, and she was attending all these meetups. Like, I forget what they call them, like webinar junkies or something like that. And the mentor, he said, you're never going to do this business. You should just get out. And it was honest, and she was like, thank you so much, because nobody else ever was going to tell me. And you're absolutely right. I'm never going to do this. I shouldn't be here. And he literally changed her life by telling her the truth. So I appreciate, like, coaching and mentorship. I think it's vital. I think everybody should have coaches and mentors. And when you pay attention to success, the successful people, that's what they do have, coaches and mentors. Even like in business. In business you see it, but in sports and coaching, like one of the coaches as mentors that I really admire is Bill Belichick. Like, I don't know what his football, his sports background is, but I know he's an excellent coach. Just because he can't get out there and tear it down with you don't mean he's not a good coach. So I think he's a good coach. Mentors are definitely valid. You just have to vet them. And vetting doesn't mean, oh, you got to be doing this business. Like, it doesn't mean that. It's a certain way that you vet. I appreciate mentors and coaches because they can be very objective, and it's essential to success. Right.
And I totally agree with you. So how would you advise for people to vet their mentors? Like, if you could give a couple steps or just words.
The quickest way, like, so, you know, I'm all about results, getting to the bottom line as soon as possible, is ask other people, like ex-professionals that you respect, get references, like ask other people. So people go out there, they do the YouTube thing, and you know, they go find it online and all this stuff. Well, you know, the YouTube University, and then they don't want to pay any money, or they don't want to like. So I run a meetup, and one of the things I'm like, look, turn your camera on, so people can know who you are, talk, interact, network with people. Like, that's how you do it. You got to network. You can't be out there just, you know, YouTube University and think you're going to do business without talking and interacting with people. So ask people in your network. So trusted people.
Okay. And to go off of that point, so what do you think is the difference between, or what is the difference between, you know, watching all these videos on YouTube? Because obviously we both give out a lot of educational and informational content on YouTube. What's the difference between that content on our platforms and everybody else's platforms versus actually investing with somebody and receiving, you know, like, what's the difference for you?
So for me, the difference is, I think it's more of a psychological thing. So a lot of time when we make an investment or we pay for something, it's like skin in the game. It's serious. You take it serious, and it's not always success or whatever, but it's just a different mindset. And you know, like when I talk about marketing, I like people that pay because they're willing to pay for something. Like it's just a difference, like a buyer. So we do wholesale, right? Yeah. Like buyers buy, like it doesn't matter. So I like people that are buyers. Buyers are just more serious. They're more committed. They actually have money. We always talk about the social media thing, and we talk about like TikTok, and it's like, oh my God, you get all these views and you do all this stuff on TikTok. But can those people buy? Some of them can, majority of them can't, or ain't even capable. So I like to work with people that are kind of capable, and if you can't, like, you know, pay for certain stuff, then you ain't mine.
So they say you don't pay attention until you pay.
I like that. I agree with that. I agree with that.
Because we take so much free stuff for granted.
Yes.
So I agree with you as well. So that kind of leads me into, so what exactly do you do in real estate now?
I do wholesale, and I do digital marketing. So I help other real estate people with their digital marketing. So I still do some wholesaling. Mostly I do that through Facebook, and I have a partner out in Texas. Okay. And we just do like nationwide, like virtual wholesaling. So. Oh,
wow. What made you want to get into virtual?
What made me want to get into virtual? My skills. So remember, I talked about that mentor. Like, he taught me those very old school skills: door knocking, cold calling. You got to beat the pavement and you got to do the work. So I'm like, all right, I understand that. So I took those principles, and I'm like, well, I have a certain skill set, because when I was working as a professional, I have a background in IT. So I'm like, can I do this online somehow? Right. Now I was like, yeah, it's possible. So I naturally went over to Facebook ads, and that's what I do. I just do virtual. So
did you implement any of those strategies that your original mentor told you about, as far as the door knocking, the cold calling, all that stuff? So
I think it was a 3-month program. Okay. 3 months. I think it was 90 days. And yeah, he taught that stuff. We were actually pounding the pavement, go out there and have the conversations.
The voice, though.
So we did that. Like, that was part of the training. Like, we would go out, and I got me, Charles, and my mentor, like, we run this other meetup group now, but they came to Philly, and we were doing like door knocking and working with, it was like, he had like 12 groups. It was a lot going on, but we actually did the work. So I learned everything in that process of actually doing. And it was tough, because it was like, all right, go do this. And some of it was like fighting against like the old you, kind of. So I was like, knock on doors and talk to people. Yeah. I'm an introvert. I don't want to talk to nobody, but it's like, all right, you paid this money. You better, right. So I just did it. I was like, all right, I'm going to do what he say. Right. I disagree with it, but let me just do it. And whatever I disagree with, I'll change it later. And that's what I did. I don't agree with door knocking and cold calling, but I agree with these principles and fundamentals. So let me take out the door knocking and cold calling, like they're pounding the pavement, and go over to Facebook. Okay. And that's what I did. So
Facebook is pretty huge when it comes to, you know, particularly in wholesaling, because a lot of people are trying to find other ways of bringing in these motivated sellers. To get these discounted properties. And I know for me, one of the ways that, you know, me and my partner started off wholesaling was cold calling. That's how we got our first couple deals, and it was effective, right? But nobody really, I don't know anybody personally who actually likes to cold call. So we knew that as time went on, we were going to switch strategies at some point. So when it comes to, Facebook marketing, right, there's a lot of people that want to get into that. I guess, what is the best way for them, what is the best way for them to get into Facebook marketing to find motivated sellers?
You want the real answer?
What? Yes, I want the real answer.
Buy my course.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen.
Buy my course.
Tell people, buy your course.
Yeah, buy the course.
Okay. All right. Well, why do you advise against them to do it themselves, or why,
So I don't advise against it. It's going to be very situational and very, it's just very situational. So it depends on your skills. It depends on your willingness. It depends on the individual. So like me, as an example, I see a lot of people, they're like, you can get involved and do this marketing stuff with no tech. That is one of the biggest lies yet. You need tech. Like, even if you want to do like direct mail, you got to go on a website and click around. You got to do certain stuff. So one of the biggest lies that I hear about, like in terms of marketing and this Facebook ad stuff, is like, you don't need to know tech. Somebody needs to know it. So maybe you don't need to know it, but you need somebody that's going to know it, and that's going to cost you. So it really depends. Do you have tech skills? Are you familiar with social media? Can you read analytics? Can you analyze marketing? Like that all depends. So it's very situational. People are like, well, what's your this? What's your that? If it's going to vary with everybody's situation, because even if we go markets, right? If you're like, what's your cost per lead? I'm in Philadelphia. I want to have a different cost per lead than somebody in New York. Right. Somebody in Alabama. All of that stuff is going to vary. So it really depends on the situation. I don't advise, if you have tech skills and you're a little bit younger, hip savvy like Lillian, you could probably learn it. But if you're like older and you resistant to technology, I don't want to put my information out on Facebook. If you're one of those people, don't touch it. Don't touch it. Jesus Christ.
I think one of the most important things, and we talked about this, is that like, a lot of people get involved. So we're specifically speaking about wholesaling right now. We'll get to like the agent side of things in a little bit, but a lot of people get involved in all these different marketing strategies, and they don't realize that they have to also track it. So you don't. Facebook is the last form of marketing that you want to get into, where you just dump a whole bunch of money and you're not looking at the analytics. You're not tracking exactly what's working and what's not, because that budget will run dry very quickly. So I think it's important to not just know about, okay, I'm going to get involved in this type of marketing, but also understand, okay, how am I going to track it? How am I going to be able to scale if it does start working, or when it does start working? So I think that's a really good point that you brought up.
Absolutely. And one more thing, it is not it's a profession. Like using Facebook ads and it's a profession, and it's worth paying for or worth learning. So you can go and you can try to figure it out, but it's tough. Like it's not easy. And then they like rolled out changes on the pixel and the remarketing. It's always changing. You got to be constantly adjusting with Facebook and anything digital. So that's why, like, when people say, "Oh, you're no tech, you don't have to learn," I just think it's a big misconception. So
I agree. I think the fact that it is always changing is something, because I actually went through a really intensive course for Facebook ads and Facebook marketing, just social media marketing in general, and it dove heavy into Facebook ads. And one thing that I noticed is that it was constantly changing. Like, let's say you bought a course a year ago, it is completely non-applicable to Facebook now. You know what I mean? So there's so many things that you have to keep track of. And so I personally believe, like Jerome said, if you don't know about it, or you're not really willing to dive into it heavy, then you definitely want to hire it out, because you don't want to dibble and dabble, especially in Facebook marketing, just because, again, your budget can run dry really fast.
Absolutely. And they say Facebook ads don't work. Those are my favorite people, because they let me get all of the leads. Like, you keep throwing your money and trying to figure it out willy-nilly. Like, it works. So
yeah, I believe, Facebook definitely works. You just got to know how to work it. So my next question is, so you started out wholesaling. Same thing with me. What made you get your real estate license?
So I used to run real estate events for a particular real estate investment group. Okay. And during these events, people would ask me for like deals, and I'm like, my deals go fast. Like I wholesale. So they're like, well, can you give me something on MLS? Are you an agent or something like that? I'm like, no. And it would come up so often. It's like, and then like at the time I was working with a guy, and he was like, why don't you just get your license? So I had him in my ear, like, get your license, and getting your license is established you. It makes you more credible, which it does. And so I had him in my ear, and I also had people like, Jerome, just something. Like, can you show me the MLS? Like, what can you do? And I'm like, I can't do anything. I'm not licensed. I just wholesale. Like, so I was like, all right, it might make sense for me to get my license so I can help some of these people. So I went there, and in addition to that, when you get your license, you just get a whole bunch of access to all these different things.
Yeah,
so that was my mind frame at the time, is like, all right, I'm going to help these people with the MLS stuff and or whatever they're looking for. And I was like, wait, no, I don't want to do that. But I'm going to keep my license for the benefits that come with it. So. Right.
So what made you not want to kind of dive into the real estate agent side of things?
Because it's very emotional. It's a very emotional business. Like stuff will fall apart over colors and it's a thing on the wall. It's like I can't do that. I can't do it. So
right. Jerome is a very cutthroat, straight to it type of guy.
I'm logical. I like logic, numbers, data. Like, well, the blue influenced me in a. Look, do you want it or not?
See, and I agree with you because coming from the wholesale side of things are very logical. Dealing with cash buyers, it's like, do the numbers work? If they do, boom, let's do it. If they don't, So for me, in my side of the agents, thing is I'm still working with investors, but they are now just trying to buy. These are investors who are trying to buy houses with, conventional loans or FHA loans or whatever the case is. Now, obviously, it's a different type of house. It's not like a totally distressed house, you know what I mean? But these are people that are looking to buy like cash flowing properties or something that needs a little bit of work. So it's a little bit different, but I still work with cash buyers because, I'm not going to just give up the wholesale side of things. So, I guess if you had to choose, I probably know the answer, but for the people, if you had to choose, what would you say you would only focus on, and then what do you think? Do you think other wholesalers out there should get licensed?
So is that two questions?
Two-part question.
Okay,
what would you personally choose, and then
what would I choose out of being licensed and not licensed?
Yes.
Like business or just being licensed or not licensed?
What would you choose? To focus on a business model, if you had to, would you choose wholesaling or would you choose the traditional real estate agent route?
That's a tough one, and I've never been posed that question. Okay. Agent or wholesale? I would probably suggest most people do agent.
What would you choose though? And then what do you suggest?
Okay, so I would choose, because it depends on where I'm at, but because I'm more logical, I would do wholesale. Like, it's just more numbers, more data. It's more businessy over there than it is like, let me butter you up and,
Right.
So I would choose wholesale. I would suggest other people do like licensing. Because, and one of the reasons why I do wholesale is because like I kind of already, like you already know, you mess with me all the time about how uptight I am. Like I'm an uptight person. I'm very structured. So I don't necessarily need that structure that comes with being an agent and getting your license and stuff like that. Right. Now, a lot of times, I'm not saying that I'm special or unique at all, but a lot of times people come in and they like floating and they're unrealistic. Yep. And by going through that training, it will help ground you and make you a little bit more realistic that this is a business. It's not get rich quick. Yes, you might see some people out there, look at my check, flashing their check where they, had some success, but that's not the majority. Yeah. That's not the majority. That's not how it works. So get some structure, understand the business, how it works. And, then if you want to maybe release your license or not keep your license or something like that, then do that. But I think the agent, like going through as an agent, gives a lot of structure. A lot of structure and business mindset, and agents are typically sharper than wholesalers.
You think so?
Yes, yes, I think so.
Okay, yeah, I can
so.
see as far as like having things in place, contracts and everything like that. I can see that.
Yeah, I'm not saying they're better in overall, but as far as a business, like running a business or being open, they are a little more equipped. In addition to that, like you got all this other stuff coming for you, MLS, realtor boards, like you got all that structure to support you. Whereas when you just do wholesale, it's like, all right, you just popped up overnight.
Right. Yeah. So I have a different answer to that. I don't know which one. Obviously, I don't know which one's better, but I would say for me, in my personal experience, it's been more beneficial for me to have gone through the wholesaling route and understanding investing as a whole, because that has opened my mind to so many different things, like learning about wholesaling, learning about creative financing strategies like seller financing and sub two. That has just opened up my mind to so many different things that are, that you're able to do. Whereas though I feel if I would have got licensed first, I would have came from this mindset of all this structure and it has to be this way or no other way is possible. So for me, just coming from this open-minded perspective versus the structure, because now that I understand the structure, now I'm able to implement it. Okay, well it does have to be like this in this situation, but it can also be like this if you want to go this way. So for me, it's just been beneficial to see both worlds, but definitely coming in from the investing side of things and then bringing in the agent side and that structure it's just been a better experience for me personally. So I would recommend that route. And also because it doesn't take much you don't have to sign up for any classes to learn wholesaling. I'm not saying that you go learn one thing in wholesaling and just start going crazy, because that's how these laws are starting to come into place, because people are just acting all crazy. But with a real estate agent course, you have to sign up, you have to do all this stuff. So that takes more time, whereas though you can learn wholesaling right away and then you can implement the real estate agent side of things. So that's my 2 cents. But yeah, you choose to do what you want to do. So I guess what is your business as a real estate professional look like today?
So lately I have been focusing a lot I run a digital marketing agency. I've been focusing on that a lot. I'm helping agents.
Preach that to the people.
I'm helping agents. I'm not preaching. I'm helping agents and real estate investors fix their tech and marketing. Okay. One of the biggest issues that people have in general, but because I'm in real estate, I like to address my real estate peeps, but it's the tech and marketing thing. People are like, oh, you don't need to know tech to do marketing. Yes, you do.
You're going to have everybody dizzy the way you keep moving.
I'm sorry. There is some, they look.
Yeah, look, here we go.
So there is you need some aspect of tech and marketing in your business if you're going to run a business. I used to run events for speakers, and I realized I'm like, okay, they don't have tech and marketing systems in place. It's just a lot of stuff missing. So I want to fix that. And that's what our agency does. We do anything around tech and marketing, we can help you fix. So.
Okay. So I agree. Marketing, without marketing, right, there's no business, because you can't you have to know where your next deal is coming from, right? At least you got to try to know where your next deal is coming from. And marketing is what gives you the highest probability to figure out when your next deal is coming, how much it'll be, etc. All right, are we still gonna get this done? Don't yawn.
Whatever you want. Whatever.
All right, we're gonna keep it rolling.
All right.
Gonna keep it rolling. All right. So, last thing we talked about was tech. This is so sad. This is so sad. Wow. You don't understand.
I don't understand. I'm here with you. What do you mean I don't understand? I know. I think I'm more disappointed.
I'm gonna cry.
I think I'm more disappointed.
Okay.
Jesus, we're just 30 minutes missing?
That was 30 minutes missing.
Jeez.
No. All right, we gonna bang this out? We gonna bang it out? Wow, bloopers and
bang it out.
Technology and the video marketing.
Do you ever put bloopers in your stuff?
I'm putting this in. I did bloopers.
Put it in, because it's the least you can do. Put it in the end.
So this is what you want to make sure that you get. You want to make sure all your video stuff is in.
This is why I say go raw, because you get issues like this. Oh, but the quality, this nice quality. No. The quality is so great. Now we're missing a whole 30 minutes. We're missing a whole 30 minutes of video.
It's about the future. It's not about right now.
It's about now.
It's not about the past.
It's about get that.
It's not about the past, okay?
Look. We just made all this excellent content. Guess what? She lost it.
I didn't lose it. It just my camera stopped.
She lost it.
So it's in the digital space. It was good. We had a good conversation with just us.
That wasn't a just us conversation. We were talking to them.
Oh my God! I know. I'm very sad right now. I'm actually very sad.
How we gonna tape this up? Like, cause
We
what?
do have to tape it up. Okay, so we're gonna tape it up. We're gonna finish talking about tech, right? What?
Because now I gotta repeat myself and.
Listen, this
No.
is what happens. So you don't want to do it? Or are you telling me that you're giving up?
No, I'm not giving up.
All right then.
But
That's how you
you
gotta
remember your energy when you
My
did the
energy is still
presentation?
up. My energy is still up.
Remember your energy yesterday?
You about to have that energy?
No, but that's how I feel. All right. So let's.
So now he's telling me that he doesn't have no energy. All right, so we're still gonna keep this going. Okay, so we were talking about tech. You still gotta face the people. See that you don't even want to face them no more.
I do. I'm gonna face the
Okay,
people.
we were talking about tech. Please just lay out the importance of tech in a real estate agent business and why tech is important, for real estate or real estate agents.
Tech is important.
Or why people look past the technology side of marketing.
Okay, so they look past the technology side of marketing because a lot of times people will tell you that you don't need to understand tech to implement marketing, which is that's completely false. There is tech involved. If you live in the 21st century, there is tech involved in marketing. You might not have to do it, but there is some aspect of tech. And bottom line is, don't try to be a master of all trades. So there's a tech aspect. You might not have to do it, but there is definitely tech involved unless you're going to go out there and knock on doors and write stuff down on a notepad. So there's some aspect of tech.
Yeah, we don't do any door knocking or any of that. I actually made a video on my channel about why I don't door knock as an African American woman. Now that kind of led into a whole different thing.
Did it?
Yeah.
I want to know about that.
What?
I would like to hear about that.
Yeah, so I mean, really quick, I just don't door knock because I personally don't think it's safe. Because the point of door knocking is to have conversations. You go inside the house and you have a conversation with somebody.
Yes.
You go inside the house, you're vulnerable to whatever they have in the house. You have no idea what's in the house, who's in the house.
Okay.
I do understand how door knocking can be powerful because you're right there.
Right, face to face.
And the point is when you're marketing, the point is to get in contact with people. And door knocking, they can't they can run away with you, but people aren't just gonna, all these people aren't gonna slam the door in your face. So yes, it's powerful because you get to, you're belly to belly with the person. But, as a woman, African American woman, you go inside the house, I just want to make it. I
never thought about that aspect, like that. It can be dangerous. I never thought about that because I'm a man and I just don't. That's like we were trying to do like this podcast series with EXP, like authentic real estate agents, and it's just some stuff that we never consider or understand as different, being part of different backgrounds.
Right.
So you as a woman, you have to think about that. Like me I'm not thinking about somebody. It can happen, but I'm like, all right, I can hold my own. Don't nobody want me.
Right.
But you're a woman. You're like, they might get me. I'm pretty. So that's just a different.
I've had
mindset.
experiences like that. Whereas like, I'm not gonna go too crazy, but wholesale deals, you go into like these distressed properties, and sometimes like I would have my partner with me, and sometimes I wouldn't because he has a full-time job. And I've had just weird guys make weird references and just they're kind of shooting their shot or whatever, and they're like, a lot of times they're typically older, and I'm like, okay, this is weird. Like there was one time I was going in the house and the guy was making all types of sexual references, and I'm like heading upstairs to his bedroom to take pictures of the upstairs, and I'm like, this is probably not a safe situation, but thankfully he's like 85 years old. If something happens, I can probably do something because he's walking around with barely getting around. But that's just not a safe situation. Even with open houses, I mean, we've seen stories, right? So not to get too deep into that, but I just personally don't think it's safe, especially as a woman. And then, we're gonna just move on from there. Okay, so we just laid out why tech is important, right? We don't want to leave that part out of your business. So I don't think we talked about yet the EXP part about things. So really quick, just lay out why you chose EXP Realty and what the benefits were to you. So.
All right. So I chose EXP like I was saying like a little bit earlier before we messed it all up. I chose EXP because I have tech eyes, and it just made a lot of sense for a person that understands tech. Like if you can see, like it's a certain like intuition that you have. Like I can see things before they happen or start happening. So it's a lot of technology and stuff that I see. I'm like, this just makes sense. Like, join or kind of get left in the dust. So EXP was one of those companies that it's innovating, and the tech, I'm like, all right, that makes absolute sense. And like a lot of stuff that people were doing, door knocking and open houses, like certain ways they were doing stuff, I'm like, this just don't make a lot of sense. Like, I want to own a business. And I want, like we talked about a little bit earlier, like I want multiple streams and multiple opportunities for my business. I don't want to just be an agent, hey, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. I want those other opportunities too. So a lot of people, they get in this, like they get in and it's like, okay, I'm going to be a real estate agent. I am a real estate agent, but I'm more than that. I am a business owner, a business person. So I want to run businesses, and EXP made sense to run businesses. So.
Yeah, EXP has a lot of different income opportunities within, the brokerage, other than just being a real estate or just, doing transactions, as, helping buyers buy and sellers sell. And one of the things for me as to why I joined EXP Realty was because of the opportunity to receive revenue share, which is basically when you're able to build a team and have other agents, come on your team and basically help them do transactions as well. So you essentially get paid to do what you're already doing, which is transactions, and then naturally people will want to be a part of your team as they see your success, and you can just teach them to be successful as well. So for Jerome, it was the technology, and I also believe the technology is very, very helpful because it helps in so many different ways. But for me, it was mainly the opportunity to receive revenue share, and that directly goes into the opportunity to have a retirement for yourself. And they have other things such as they give you stocks and stuff like that. So a whole bunch of things when it comes to EXP Realty, but that's why I joined, and we both started on the wholesale side, so it just made sense for us. So digital marketing, you run a digital marketing agency, and you do that to help real estate investors, right?
And agents.
And real estate agents. Okay, so I know we went over it in the last section, but I just want to talk about it again. So digital marketing for real estate agents and real estate investors is very important. But how would they particularly go about, getting started in digital marketing?
How would they get started in digital marketing? Buy my course.
Buy his course.
Buy my course.
Buy his course. And then, but why, I guess let me ask you this. Why did you, because I don't think we talked about this in the first section, why did you get started in digital marketing, and then did you use the other traditional forms of marketing?
Why did I get started? My mentor, like he taught me the door knocking, the cold calling, right? He taught me that stuff. And when I had him and I was pounding the pavement, I'm like, okay, this works. So I took what works. I'm like, but when I was doing it, I'm like, some of this stuff it doesn't sit right with me as a millennial. They call us entitled, spoiled millennials. As a millennial, I'm like, some of this stuff doesn't make sense. Like, why am I door knocking if I could do other stuff? So I have an IT and a tech background. I'm like, okay, how can I apply that, like my skills, to my business? And I gravitated towards Facebook ads, and that's what drove me to Facebook ads. And it wasn't like, Facebook is technology. It's not, I don't know how to describe it, but I'm like, okay, what's the closest thing to technology, like my actual background? And it was Facebook. So I was like, all right, I learned Facebook ads and implement that into my business.
That makes total sense. And what we were saying before was that, you don't want to just head into Facebook ads without really having an understanding about it, which is why, Jerome had plugged himself to, hire him, for your Facebook marketing or digital marketing in general. Because you can blow a lot of money on Facebook, and if you're not willing to understand how it works and also be willing to track, what you're doing, then you can really just, hurt yourself more than you would, or spend more money than you would if you were to just, hire a professional to do it. And we're big on hiring professionals. I am. I'd rather
absolutely.
I'd rather hire somebody that knows what they're doing, that already has the experience and everything like that, versus me personally go through it, try to learn everything, burn money in the process of trying to learn everything, and then, still try to like tweak things and figure it out and go through that whole headache, then just hire somebody who I know already has a proven strategy and success doing it. So
right. At the very least, hire a consultant or buy some kind of course where you get support. So pay. You said it earlier. Pay when you pay.
When you don't you don't pay attention until you pay.
Yep.
So when you're not paying for things, it doesn't mean as much to you. But when you are, that's when you really start to hone in on things. So I know one thing we didn't talk about was, why do you think there's? I really want to talk about this point. Why do you think there's beef between real estate agents and wholesalers?
Beef between. So I think they're jealous of each other. I think both sides are jealous in some way. Earlier we said I think agents are more jealous of wholesalers than wholesalers being jealous of agents. And the reason why I think they're jealous is because as a wholesaler and even as investors, like we're mostly talking about wholesalers, but you make more money on the transaction.
Yes.
And these agents are jealous. It's like, it's illegal. You can't do that. They stripped the equity from the house. There's all this stuff around. It's like, instead of being jealous of that strategy or that person, why don't you go learn about it? Why don't you go learn about it? So I think agents are jealous of wholesalers in that aspect. And then I think wholesalers are jealous of agents in the aspect that they have access to more tools, more technology. They're to me, they're more business savvy than typical wholesalers, because a wholesaler, you can just pop up overnight. Oh, I was on YouTube. I was watching Max, bro. I'm a wholesaler. I'm a wholesaler now. It's like, okay. Right. I'm a wholesaler now. Well, what the hell? Like, how do you get a business already? How you doing transactions already? How is that possible? You didn't go through, here in Pennsylvania, what is it, 75 hours? You didn't go through the 75 hours. All you did was YouTube University. How you got a business? So that's my perspective.
So I agree with that. I think real estate agents are more jealous of wholesalers because of the more money that wholesalers can make in a transaction. But I also think wholesalers, and we were talking about this, need to be more understanding of real estate agents not understanding the numbers, because when you go through real estate agent school or the licensing program, you pretty much are learning all about the contracts, the regulations, the laws, and everything like that. Of course, you dive into numbers too, but with wholesalers, you specifically focus on the numbers heavily, because that's all the end buyer thinks about are these numbers. If the numbers make sense, it's a deal, right? So I think I push on this channel a lot that wholesalers, real estate agents, and real estate investors really, really need to work together, because they can collaborate with each other and get more deals together, and they can help more people. Because if for me, I know when I'm going to a seller appointment, and I know I could provide the seller, a listing, or I can provide them a cash offer or even a creative financing deal. I'm giving them as many options as they can, to have to sell their house. Whether they want to sell for retail with an agent or sell for cash and get it done, in 2 weeks, I can help them either way. So agents and investors can work together, to get more deals done and just help more people, in the market in general. So with that being said, you need to go, if you're a wholesaler, you need to go find some agents to work with. And if you're an agent, you need to go find some wholesalers or investors to work with. And I gave this example earlier. I have a mentor, I started out, using him a while ago. His name is Jamel Dandry, but his career started out with using all real estate agents in the Phoenix market, and that's how he became a really, really big wholesaler. And he actually has a national wholesaling company. So he's done very well for himself, utilizing the help of real estate agents. So agents need to be more mindful when they're, of working with real estate investors or wholesalers, because you can really make a lot of money doing so. So that's my advice with that. One more question for you. What is your end game in real estate, digital marketing? How are you going to bring it all together? So, again, world domination. What my ultimate goal is, like, I have a company, Digital Real Estate Strategies is my company. And within that company, I have like a sector, Digital RIA, Digital Real Estate Investment Association is what it's called. And my objective is to bring like all these beefs that we have, agents, investors, all of that. My objective, like my feel good objective, is to get all of that together. It's like, okay, we can all work together and solve problems and all help each other. So I came from that space of the real estate investment group, the clubs. And when I was coming from there, I was like, okay, these groups don't talk the same language. Yep. They don't talk the same language. So my objective is to use DRIA to help bring each of those groups and companies and professions all together. So again, like coming from that space, like RIA groups, if you don't know what a RIA group is a real estate investment association. What they do is
it's strategic. Like Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, he talks about the mastermind principle. They get together like every month or every so often, and they talk about how can I make my business together or better, or how can I learn. And I don't see that as much in the real estate agent space. Like they'll go to trainings or whatever, but it's not the same aspect. So I'm going to take DREA and I want to put that all together, and I want it to be national. One more thing, so that's why we have the marketing arm inside of digital real estate strategy. Is people really struggle with tech and marketing. Yep. They really struggle with tech and marketing, and so my answer is expanding from the other answer. But a good example is us as professionals, right? As individual, like solo business owners, like us, entrepreneurs, independent contractors. We got a lot going against us sometimes, and it's worth it. But one of the things that people need to be aware of right now is like we don't get all those benefits and stuff. Like we didn't even talk about like EXP offering. I think we missed that, but that was one of the reasons why the healthcare. We don't, as small business owners, we got to build a lot for ourselves. And one of the things, like when I was running this group, that local group in Philadelphia, one of the things that I had a problem with was they couldn't get the message out. Like there were certain messages that need to be delivered. So there was an attack on wholesaling. Yes. There was an attack on wholesaling, and we got this company and we can't do anything about it because we struggle with the tech and the marketing. So I want to resolve that issue. And right now, currently, there's an attack on individual retirement accounts. Oh, wow. There's an attack on, so the government and the people, they don't want us to use our retirement accounts to invest in anymore. Yes. Yes. So maybe in the work field, they don't care. Like as a W-2 employee, they don't care because they got the 401ks and they're used to, kind of like I was talking about the agent, they're used to the employer feeding them or whatever. Well, us as entrepreneurs and business owners, we kind of make our own stuff. And that individual retirement account, that's one of the ways that we build wealth. Yeah. There's an attack on that, but how do we get the message out there? We're scrambling, we're trying to do all of this stuff, and we can't get the message out effectively because we don't have that tech and marketing. So my objective is to like combine all of those things that I'm talking about and clarify the message and be effective in delivering the tech, the marketing, and that message that we need to deliver. So again, world domination. World domination. So yeah, it sounds like it's mainly about just bringing everybody together. I think I'm kind of on page with you for that, in regards to that, because I mean, even my YouTube channel, I started out wholesaling and now I'm an agent, and the point is for me to bring everybody together. I'm all about collaboration over competition. And again, as I keep saying, I really believe that agents and wholesalers can really work together to, because at the end of the day, the point is to help the consumer or the seller sell their property, or a buyer buy a property. Like our businesses as a real estate agent and a wholesaler are dependent upon somebody selling and somebody buying. So if we can help both individuals, whether you're an agent or a wholesaler or you're working with the two, that's the whole objective of everything. So you got to be able to work together, and I think you are doing a great job of bringing those types of professionals together, as well as my YouTube channel. So yeah, guys, collaboration over competition. And with that being said, what do you want to leave the people with when it comes to real estate, digital marketing, everything like that? So we talked about 3 points earlier. Number one, your most immediate thing that you should be doing is implementing video communication and video marketing into your business. Get some tech and marketing, join us, sign up. I don't know, maybe we got a course, join the YouTube channel, whatever it is, come get some of your skills and learn some stuff from us. And then I'm changing the answer, but you just gotta, you gotta not give a damn what people think about you. You gotta get out there and gotta do what you gotta do. So, yeah, I agree. At the end of the day, it comes down to the action that you decide to take. And if you don't take any action, you won't really get anywhere. So, guys, there we have it for today. Thank you, Jerome, for hopping on today with me and doing this second round of the second part of our interview because the first part it messed up. So thank you for being patient. And guys, if you are looking to get more information when it comes to digital marketing and real estate in particular, you can follow his channel. I will tag him down below. He talks all about digital marketing for investors and agents, so make sure you follow that. And I'll tag the rest of his socials as well. He's on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and all that. So guys, if you need any more information, go ahead and do that. And if you haven't done so yet, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss when I drop the next video.
And until later, guys, I will see you on the next one. Peace.
If it cut off again, you ain't even.
I'm jumping off the bridge if it